0, -1, and our x-intercept was 5/3 0. And that's when we had the conversation of when I could put that in decimals and I hit the x-intercept, it was a repeating decimal. Right? And we went back to decimals and we were able to turn that repeating decimal into a fraction. But the conversation that we had yesterday is I asked you, what do these two intercepts have in common? Class? What do these two intercepts have in common?
The 0.
The 0. Right? When the y-intercept, what value is 0?
X.
The x. In the x-intercept, what value is 0?
Y.
The y. This is always true. It doesn't matter what my x-intercept, my y-intercept looks like. It doesn't matter where it crosses this line. My x value is always going to be 0 in the ordered pair. It is. Just like the x-intercept. It doesn't matter where it crosses this line, my y value is always going to be 0. All right. So with that being said, we're going to complete this lunch. We're not going to solve for y. We're going to solve these today for y. That is what our activity is about. But I don't want to solve this for y. Why? Because I want to show you mathematically how to go in here and substitute x's and substitute y for 0 to find specific intercepts. Because sometimes we don't need to solve for y, right? It's just another tool that you can put in your toolbox. All right, so let's talk about the y-intercept. Every y-intercept, what value is 0?
X.
The x. So I'm going to find the y-intercept of this equation by setting x equal to 0. I'm going to find the y-intercept, and I know the y-intercept of that equation has a 0 for x. I know it does. So I'm going to substitute 0 for x. Anytime I substitute, I always put it in what?
Parentheses.
Parentheses. So I have 8 parentheses 0, right? Because that's substituted for x, minus 4y equals 16. Isaac, what did I just do? What did I just do? What did I do? I didn't ask you to go put anything in decimals. What did I do here? I just need you to explain to me what I did. I put it as a 0 because I'm trying to find the what? The y what? The y-intercept. Are we ready? Anything times. Now I have negative 4y equals 16. Now what do? I'm solving for y. What do?
Divide by -4.
Divide by -4. This is an equation. Divided by -4. What I do to one side, I
Do to
the other. Those 4's cancel. So what does y equal?
-4.
-4. So my y-intercept, when x is 0, my y-intercept is -4. Questions? That seems pretty simple. Okay, now let's go find the x-intercept. So think about the x-intercept. What value is always 0 on the x-intercept?
Y.
The y. So for the x-intercept, I'm going to set y equal to 0. I'm going to rewrite this equation, 8x minus 4y equals 16. And I know for the x-intercept, x is 0. Not x is 0. y is 0. So on my ordered pair, y is 0. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to substitute y for what?
0.
0. 8x minus 4 times 0 equals 16. Very good. Anything times 0 is what?
0.
0. And I have 8x equals 16. Now what do I do?
Divide by 8.
Divide by 8. So x equals what?
2.
So my x-intercept is 2. What? That's important. That's important to know. Because equations like this show up on PFA 3, PFA 4, additional 2, additional 3. And there's questions on there that just say, what's the x-intercept? What's the y-intercept? If you forget all this, the best thing you can do is solve for what? Y. And that's what we're going to do today. All right? So what I want to do is I want to go back and I want to refresh our brains on what we did yesterday.
What did we do yesterday?
Yesterday, we started with this and then we went to this. Right? We worked backwards. We substituted these values for x and y to see if it gave us 4. We substituted this value in here to see if it gave us negative 16. We substituted this value in for x and y to see if it gave us 16. We worked backwards. That's how we started off. Thumbs up? Thumbs up. We got it. You did, because when I said go find the other two, you were moving. Then we went into this. We solved for y. After we solved for y, we started with the y-intercept. We did rise over run to make specific points. We found the slope. We found the y-intercept. We found the x-intercept. We all did it. Are we good?
We all did it.
Now we're going to solve stuff like that. The difference between this and what you did yesterday is there's a number in front of y other than 1. All right. So we're going to solve these for y, and we're going to graph it. We're going to identify slope. We're going to identify x-intercept, and we're going to identify y-intercept. All right. What do I need to do first? It's an equation. I need to solve for y. What do I need to do? Substitute what? I'm not substituting anything in here. Yes. I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to circle what I'm solving for. Yeah. Yesterday was difficult because it was the first day. Today is day 2. You're gonna pick it up and you're gonna go with it. All right. I'm circling in, or I'm boxing in the sign in front of the number because the sign in front of the number isn't always a positive. So now I need to pick this 4x up and bring him over here. Michaela, how do I pick this 4x up and bring him over here?
By changing the x to 0.
Look at the lunch. Miss Wright set x to 0 and set y to 0 because I was finding the intercepts. We're still going to find the intercepts here, but guess what we're going to do? We're going to solve for y. That's what we're going to do. What are we going to solve for? We're going to solve for y. There's my line. I'm circling in that because I need to get everything else on the other side. Michaela, what am I going to move?
2y.
Mikhail, what am I gonna move? How am I gonna move that 4x? Why am I subtracting it? Brittany, you have to do the opposite. I could have sworn these were the same conversations I had yesterday. I promise you I'm not going backwards. This is PFA 3, PFA 4, additional 2, additional 3. Last year, I only did this one day. And then when my kids got to it, I don't understand, I don't remember what to do. This is day 2. You better raise your hand, you better ask questions. I'm going to constantly check your understanding. I'm going to constantly ask the same questions.
On this one. And this one, not on this one.
This cancels, and over here I'm left with
Interesting.
2y. Are we good?
Mhm.
What is 4 minus 4x? 4 minus 4x, right? The conversation that we had yesterday is I could not put these together, could I? Why not? Because it doesn't have an x. But today, like I did yesterday, I'm going to write that in slope-intercept form. Eventually, we'll have y by itself, but in slope-intercept form, the x comes first. So I'm going to write this as negative 4x plus 4. It's the same thing. 4 is positive, 4 is positive. Negative 4x is negative, negative 4x is negative. Questions or comments? Now here's the tricky part. Here's the different part from yesterday. What's my last step when solving an equation? Not the x. Okay, so what is my last step when I'm solving an equation? Very last step. We're solving equations next week. Same thing. Divide. But the key here is when I divide, I'm going to divide by what? 2. When I divide, I have to divide everything, each piece by 2. I have to divide each piece by 2. This 2 and this 2 cancel, and I'm just left with y. This is a fraction, not negative 4x divided by 2, no. It's just a fraction. What is negative 4 divided by 2? Negative 2 what? X. And then what is a positive 2 divided by 2? Positive 2. Fifth period, I had somebody sitting there. Now, in a minute, I'm going to release you, and I'm going to let you do this on your own. But the conversation I had is, what are you doing? She says, she started doing this. She says, I don't remember which one goes in. I'm like, no. This is in 7th grade. No. Who gets the fine part? What copy of our math? No. Look, all you have to do is put negative 4 divided by 2 in decimals, just like that. All right, Michaela, what is it? You will always have decimals. The only time that you will not have decimals is on a map test. On a map test. In the map test, if it wants you to use decimals, it will be embedded in there. Other than that, you have decimals every PFA, every additional, every concept unit, yes. No. Algebra 2, they're going to take it away from you. They're going to take it away, and they're going to want you probably to know more of the math. But Algebra 2 is a lot more quadratics, is a lot more laws of exponent. It's just
Creepy.
Is there
what? You have decimals in the STAR test, yes. You even have this other calculator that's in STAR that we never use. So if you would never use it, why are you going to go fiddle with it? That's wasting time. No, don't try anything new. Not on the STAR test. Not on the STAR test. All right, Michaela, what is it? What don't you understand? I'm going to come back to you in a minute, okay? You got this. You do. All I'm doing is solving for y. That's all I'm doing. We're going to do some more, and we're going to do some more, and we're going to do some more. The only thing that I think is confusing is how I wrote this. A lot of people will just write 4 minus 4x. But I want to keep it like this because this right here is what we call slope-intercept form. Y equals, and then it's mx plus b. Okay? Looking at this equation, looking at this equation, what is slope? What is my slope in this equation?
Negative 2x.
Negative 2. Okay?
Oh,
Now let's talk about the
I said
y-intercept. What's my y-intercept as an ordered pair?
0, 2.
0, 2. Don't put that in decimals. Y equals negative 2x plus 2. Go put it in decimals. Go put it in decimals. You can double check your y-intercept because wherever that go now is I want to know the x-intercept. 1, 0. Now, could we have gone back and substituted x for 0 and found the y-intercept? Yeah. Could I have gone back and substituted y for 0 and found the x-intercept? Yeah. But you know what I couldn't have done? I had to solve for y if I wanted the slope. So if I need the slope, let's go ahead and just solve for y and find the rest of this. All right? I borrowed. Let's go to the next one. Same thing.
Sir?
We're going to draw our line, and we're going to box in the y. The sign in front of the number goes with the number. That is a negative 2y that we're boxing in. Okay? Carlos,
Yep.
what am I going to move?
Your x.
How do I move that x?
Subtract it.
Why am I subtracting x?
Because you have to do the opposite.
You have to do the opposite.
Smart.
You think he's smart? I'm smart alecky looking.
Bro.
Bro. Alright,
He's trying to make him feel better about himself.
here we go. What happens to these x's?
They canceled out.
They cancel out. And what do I have left? Negative 2y. Make sure that, pay attention, the sign in front of the number stays with the number, equals. I'm going to keep my rhythm. I'm going to leave it in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to have negative x plus 10. The 10 is positive, the 10 is positive. The x is negative, the x is negative. What is my last step?
Dividing.
Not divide by 2. Divide by negative 2. But when I divide, I'm going to divide each piece by negative 2. Now it's going to get a little tricky here, but that's okay. Do not be afraid of fractions. Do not be afraid of decimals. Don't, because you have a tablet. These cancel, and I have y equals. What number is in front of this x?
1.
No, it's not a
Negative
1.
1.
Negative 1. This is not negative 1x divided by 2. No, 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 no. This is negative 1 divided by negative 2. What is negative 1 divided by negative 2? 0.5 or 1 over 2. Can I leave it as a fraction? Absolutely. Can I turn it to a decimal? Absolutely. I'm going to turn it to a decimal. So I'm going to put 0.51. X. What is 10 divided by negative 2? Negative 1. Is it okay to go put 10 divided by negative 2 in decimals? Yeah. Because we're not integer, we're not professional integer solvers. We're not. Right? We need decimals because these are the little mistakes that people make. Tomorrow we're going to do what first, second, and third, fourth. Y'all are a day behind. And I have a lot of people that look and their minds are thinking faster than what they want to. And this is where they're messing up. They're messing up with the integer rules. That's the difference between being committed and not committed. You've got to take that time and utilize decimals. All right, so here's my equation. What is my slope?
0.5.
0.5. Okay, let's talk about the y-intercept. As an ordered pair, what's my y-intercept?
0,
Zero
negative
what?
5. Negative 5.
Go put y equals 0.5x minus 5. Go put that in Desmos. When I put that in Desmos, Mark, you will know this. I know you will. Mikhail, what is the x-intercept?
10.
What are you doing?
I was asking him why my line showing up.
What line?
Oh yeah,
The
this
line
time.
up here, but I was zoomed in. So I was like, why my line showing up?
Sometimes when you get to fill in with Desmos, you change the graphics. Anytime you can't see something and you know you've looked at the equation, if all else fails, when you go to Desmos, on the right-hand side, there's a house, right? There's a house. If all else fails, you always go home, and it'll take you back. Okay?
Go home.
All right, questions or comments?
Not yet.
What is your name? Judith. What is it? Were you here yesterday? Okay. Who was here yesterday? Raise your hand. These people were here yesterday, so they're a little bit more, they were introduced to stuff like this yesterday, right? What is this? This is algebra, and let me show you why. Here we have the formula chart, and on the formula chart, here's the linear equations section. On that test, 85% of your test has to do with linear. Do you know what linear is? It's a straight line, right? So 85% of that test has to do with linear, right? We've talked about slope-intercept form. We have. Y equals mx plus b. We want an equation to be y equals y. I can put it in Desmos. I can look at a table. I can see the slope. I can see things on that graph that I want to see in Desmos. I can see a y-intercept. There's a lot of stuff that we can do if it says y equals. But guess what? It doesn't happen like that because we have standard form. Guess what we're doing today? That's standard form. I'm not going to break it down why about the ax, the b, y, and the c. All we're doing is we're solving for what? Y. Because if I can solve for y, it comes to slope-intercept form, and I can do a lot. I need Desmos. I've got to be able to utilize Desmos. Tomorrow when you come in here, we're looking at stuff like this. It's a different form. We're still going to solve for y. Right? It's the same thing over and over. Okay, let's go to the next one. 4x minus 2y equals 6. I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to box in my y. I'm boxing in negative 2y. The sign in front of the number goes with the number.
She's scared.
Aaliyah, how am I going to move the 4x?
You're gonna add it.
Aaliyah, were you in pre-AP last year? You were. Okay, you weren't here yesterday, were you? Let me show you how we started this conversation off because it doesn't matter what kind of math you're in. Look, Aaliyah, this is how we started the conversation off. 5x plus 10 equals 15. And I asked every class period, guide me through how to solve this. And you know what the first thing they said? Draw a line. Do you know what the second thing they said? Box in your x. And then I asked them, okay, what do you do now? What do you do?
You subtract 5x.
What are y'all looking for? Go look up your homework. I do what?
Subtract 5x.
No. Miss LeBlanc, I don't want to go get Miss LeBlanc. Look right here. Yes. I don't want to go get Miss LeBlanc. What am I going to move?
10.
What am I going to move? 10. Right? How am I going to move 10? Why am I going to minus 10? Because I'm going to do the opposite. Right? Yeah, the purpose of me subtracting 10 is to isolate that x. So let's go back over here. Aaliyah, what am I going to move?
4x.
How am I gonna move that 4x?
Subtract it.
Why?
It's the opposite.
What I do to one side, I.
To the other.
There you go. Right, we're solving an equation, just like over here we were solving an equation. But this looks a little different. So what? We're still keeping it balanced. All right. All right. So this, my equal sign, this cancels. What do I have left on the left?
Negative 2y.
Negative 2y
Smart.
equals what?
Negative 4x plus 6.
Negative 4x plus 6. Negative, the 4x is negative, the 4x is negative, the 6 is positive, the 6 is positive. What's the last thing I do, Marcus? What?
Divide.
I could have sworn you said subtract. Thank you, Marcus, for speaking up and not letting anybody hear what Ms. Wright heard. I'm going to divide negative 2, but when I divide negative 2, I'm going to divide each piece by negative 2. Are you done? Oh, I thought you were done and you were just waiting for Miss Wright. No, my fault's on you. Those two cancels, and that's why I just have a y. This is negative 4, not negative 4x divided by 2. This is negative 4 divided by negative 2. What's negative 4 divided by negative 2? 2. 2 what? Okay. This is 6 divided by negative 2. What is 6 divided by negative 2?
3.
Oh my goodness, negative 3. All right.
I get that.
Looking at this equation, what is my slope? My slope is 2. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
What's my y-intercept? 0, negative 3. Go put that in decimal so I can find my x-intercept. Y equals 2x minus 3. Fill out a e-pass. Okay. Did y'all get 1.5 as the x-intercept?
Yeah.
What are you doing, Jared? Pay attention.
Go take the purple pass. Alright, so my x-intercept is 1.5. Alright. Go do the next one. Go do the next one. When you're done with that one, go do the next one. Make sure the sign in front of the number